Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CACHET Virtual College Fair. We've got an exciting session today with Will from the Illinois Institute of Technology. Before we get started, a couple housekeeping items. So note that your camera and microphone are off. Our panelists can't see or hear you, so you'll need to use the Q&A button to ask any of your questions. We also want to highlight that we have some additional college fairs, some additional sessions. So if you have interest in any of those, go on out to the StriveScan website to get started on your sign-up process. Also note that we're recording the session, so if you have interest in reviewing at a later date, you can do so at strivescan.com/cache. With those behind us, we'll turn it over to Will.
All right. Thank you so much for that introduction. And let's just get the right presentation here. Sorry. All right, that is correct. All right, so my name's Will. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the Illinois Institute of Technology. Excited to share some about our institution with you this evening and talk a little bit about our admissions process. I'm going to go over all of the different academic programs that we offer, and then I'll follow up or end up with all of the important information about how to apply, scholarship opportunities, all those important juicy details that you need in order to help support your college search process. Before we jump into that though, I always like to make sure it is super clear where we are and who we are. So Illinois Tech is located in Chicago. As you can see on the screen, if you recognize the city skyline, we are just about 10 to 15 minutes from the center of downtown Chicago. And you can see our campus is sort of a semi-traditional campus in a way. We've got your green space, we've got those residence halls, you've got sort of that an enclosed, not an enclosed area, but sort of an encompassed area. And what you see on the screen in front of you is pretty much almost our entire campus. You're just missing the building that this photo was actually taken from, which is the IIT Tower. And then sort of just heading north, you get to see all of the great spots. The other thing that I always like to point out that you see in this photo is the train lines. So Illinois Tech has not one, but two train lines. The red line and the green line trains on the CTA routes are located right on our campus. So very quick, easy access for our students to get up into the city. So with that out of the way, you might be wondering, what else is Illinois Tech? And we are a community of lots of different students who come together around shared interests. At Illinois Tech, you can guess by our name, we are STEM focused. We really are looking for those students who maybe want a very traditional STEM-based field, or those who are maybe interested in bringing STEM into something that might traditionally be a little bit more humanities focused. Because of that work, we come together and our students during their time at Illinois Tech and upon graduation make up some of those things you see on the slideshow. They could be entrepreneurs, they could be innovators. They are absolutely hands-on thinkers. And by the way that our curriculum is built, by the time they graduate, they are all interdisciplinary thinkers. We are definitely going to challenge you to not just work as an engineer, but to also think about how that works within the context of a global society. We're going to challenge you to get your hands dirty, to really test out those concepts and see how that applies. During the presentation tonight, I'm going to share some examples of how that happens and share some of the different ways that we at Illinois Tech are making sure that you're getting those experiences. So we know not only is it important, but it's also why you are looking at a school like us. So in addition to sort of our location of being in the city, I also want to point out a few other things that you have access to. Like I said, red and green line are our main CTA trains, but there are other lines as well that you can easily transfer to. So if you might be heading home for a winter break, you can do that on the CTA going to either Midway or O'Hare. You want to go up and watch the Cubs play, you can do that as well, though the White Sox are literally within walking distance to our campus. So hopefully that might be a team that you go visit. You've also got the great waterfront. So if you are somebody who enjoys the great waterfront, you've got that just about a mile from campus. And then you've got a nice long biking and walking and running trail that our students definitely enjoy. A few summers ago, I talked to a student, he got a Divvy bike, which is our public bike sharing system, and rode it all the way from our campus up until the end of the bike trail. So spent a very long day, stopped for a lot of great snacks and food along the way. One of the great things about Chicago is we have no shortage of good food. Now, in terms of the student body at Illinois Tech, it's a very diverse group. We are coming from all over the US as well as all over the world. We're a small community of just over 3,000, closer now to about 3,100 students. And, like I said, we're a little bit from everywhere. We also represent a lot of different ages, different backgrounds. About 25% of our students who start every year are transfer students. So if any of you are maybe considering a transfer pathway, or you are actually already on that and you're taking classes at your local community college, know that Illinois Tech is a great place for you as well. We're going to do everything we can to help make that transition as easy as possible, getting your classes transferred over and helping you make that jump into an Illinois Tech style education. At Illinois Tech, we also look at our undergraduate retention. That's something that's really important. If you don't know what retention is, that's totally fine. Don't expect you to know that word. Retention is the number of students who return after their first year. So an Illinois Tech education and engineering education can be quite intense. And you should expect that pretty much anywhere you go. But one of the things that we do is really try to make sure our students are supported. We're going to give you that challenge. We're going to ask you to do hard things, but we're going to be there to make sure that you have that support and that you are feeling like, you know what, it's not an insurmountable task. Yes, I'm getting challenged in the classroom. And yes, I'm having to really think deep about this field that I want to enter. But we want to help to make sure that that's something you can do, and we're going to be there to help support that. So at Illinois Tech, we are basically encompassed of roughly 5 individual colleges. So we also have a few at the graduate level only, but on the undergraduate side, we've got these 5 individual colleges that make up the academic core of Illinois Tech. I'm going to kind of go through each of the colleges and talk a little bit more in depth about what you can find in those. But before I do, I want to make sure you know that in addition to these majors, we also have a number of undergraduate minors. In fact, almost every single major at our university has at least 1 or 2 minors associated with those. I'm not going to go into all of that because that's just way too much information for this presentation, but you can find all of that information on our website. The place you want to look is called the IIT Bulletin. That's where you're going to find a full listing of our majors, our minors, our special pathways, accelerated options, all kinds of great information. And you can even look at a very granular level to see, what am I going to take as a second year aerospace engineering student? You can see your exact curriculum laid out. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at that. First up on our list, though, is our engineering school. And this is a very large, very popular part of an IIT education. There are many, many students studying in our engineering department, and they're in one of these different pathways. The most popular tends to be mechanical engineering because it's a nice broad-based engineering field, but you'll find students in all of these: civil engineering, architectural engineering, aerospace is something that I've heard more and more at college fairs recently, that they're interested in studying aerospace engineering. I also always want to make sure students know that we do have biomedical. It is our relatively newest engineering track here at Illinois Tech. And that's actually made up of 3 individual tracks: a cellular and tissue, a neural engineering, and then also a medical imaging and devices. Great thing about a lot of what I'm telling you is you don't have to know exactly what you want. You could also come in as a completely undecided engineer. That is totally fine. If you know you want to do engineering, you don't know which field. We'll help you during your first year to explore, find the one that's the best possible fit for you, while still making sure that you're getting all of your math, your physics, all of those sort of base level requirements that you need in order to graduate in 4 years, because we know how important that is. And we're definitely going to be there to support you as you do that. Other thing I'll point out on this page here is the electrical engineering program. There is an alum of ours who graduated from our electrical engineering program in the 1950s, who has impacted maybe the very device you're watching this presentation on. Marty Cooper led the team at Motorola that created the first portable cell phone. So we always like to say thank you to Marty for the impact he's had on society. And again, 1950s electrical engineering grad of ours. The other thing I'll point out on this slide before we move forward is our research and design program. So at Illinois Tech, undergraduate research is open to all majors. However, you're going to find some departments will actually have their own research programs just for their individual students. So at IIT in our engineering field, the way that we do that is through the research and design program. This allows students to do very specialized research. So there's sort of 2 pathways. One that is very problem-solving focused, and another that's a little bit more of a theoretical type of research. So you as an undergraduate student, as early as your very first year on campus in engineering, can get involved in the work that's happening with our professors. Some really great examples of work in the aerospace engineering field. We use an underground wind tunnel to help test metal alloys used by major aerospace engineering companies. A few years back, we had a contract with the Housing and Urban Development from the federal government, helping them to look at the way that we're designing buildings, looking at the materials that are being used really from a respiratory health perspective. And that was something that was cross-disciplinary. And that's, again, you're going to hear me say cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary, work that included engineers, architects, as well as folks interested in materials science. So lots of great options there. Our next school is the architecture school. So this doesn't have quite as many majors as you can see. In fact, it has one main major, which is the undergraduate architecture program or the professional architecture program. That's one of the distinctions of our program is it is the 5-year professional degree for students. One of the reasons that we do this is that allows you to then start your licensing process upon graduation. So you can enter an architecture field in a few different ways. The 5-year option like ours is one of the quickest. The other way you could do that would be a 4+2 program, which is not available at Illinois Tech, but might be at other institutions that you're looking at. So important to know that distinction. The other thing you're going to see here with this is there are specializations available within architecture. So you can choose to do any one of these different specialization tracks, or you can just do a more open-ended where you get to taste a little bit of each of those without necessarily saying that landscape architecture is absolutely where I want to focus most of my time. Now, the program at IIT for architecture students is very intensive, obviously. We are really going to challenge you from your very first class to think about how you're designing. How does this come together to create a building? How does a building come together to create a neighborhood? How does that neighborhood look in the context of an entire society? So you'll get a chance to do that using your studio courses. Every single semester, you're going to take a studio course working, in a really small, close-knit environment with a licensed architect who are helping you to build those skills, which is why you can then start your licensing process upon graduation. All of those hours combined. Next up here is our College of Computing. This is actually one of the newest colleges at Illinois Tech. This is roughly just about 1.5 years old. And the College of Computing basically is a group of majors that are all related to either computing or math. At Illinois Tech and at most schools, those are going to be very closely related. The way that we teach computer science here is a very strong math foundation. We want you to not just learn sort of the how and why, but really look at the whole creation of the process. We want you to understand the problem solving side of computers. And so there's a few different options within this field. You can do a traditional CS program. You could also specialize in artificial intelligence. You could do cybersecurity focused work. Or if you maybe love computers, but the idea of doing almost 2 full years of higher level math doesn't get you super excited, that's totally fine as well. We also have an information technology management program. This is available for those students who really want to, rather than think about creating the next version of operating systems or the next programming language, instead want to just use what we have today in new and innovative ways and be ready to work with the next system and apply it in different sort of iterations, but not necessarily be on the cutting edge development side. Information technology management will help you do that. We also have an undergraduate statistics program here, as well as applied math. The other new college at Illinois Tech is our Science and Letters School. So this is home to a lot of majors, as you can see on the list. Over 20 different majors are available here. And a lot of them are things that you might recognize from your high school your high school coursework. These are going to be those traditional lab sciences, your biologies, your chemistries, your physics. You're also going to see, though, some more interdisciplinary work happening in this area. So psychological sciences, behavioral health and wellness, global studies, food science and nutrition is a new program that's actually not even on this list, but has just recently been added to this program. So these are programs that really kind of look at bringing that STEM-based education together with something that might be a little bit more traditionally humanities field. The other thing that you'll see on this list is the opportunity to go pretty deep into one of these science programs. So yes, you can do chemistry. We have lots of students doing chemistry, but you could even take it a little bit farther if you'd like and go right into forensic chemistry as a high school graduate, going into that for 4 years, being ready to step into a crime lab and work right away without going on to get a master's degree. Eventually, you will want to do that and get further study in the field, but this can give you the basic skills so that you can step right into the field right away, get a few years under your belt, and then decide what type of specialization you might want to go into. So some really great options here. The other thing that the Science and Letters School has is our pre-health programs. So for anyone who's interested in possibly going into a medical, dental, pharmacy, optometry, any of those types of fields, this is where you can do your pre-health studies. And this is also where there will be some special programs. I'll talk about those later in the presentation, but some accelerated pathways or some guaranteed admissions pathways for those of you interested in the health fields. Last, we have our College of Business. So the Stewart School of Business has, again, only one major, kind of like architecture school in that way. This is going to be an undergraduate business administration's degree. So it is a Bachelor of Science, and it allows you to specialize in any of those traditional business fields that you might think of, human resources, finance, marketing, those kinds of things. Or, and what I would say is kind of makes us a different place, is you could also pair that with one of our more STEM or science-based programs. So if they say, for example, you wanted to work in the automotive industry, maybe you study business and then you do a specialization within mechanical engineering. If you want to work in the pharmaceutical industry, maybe you pair that with that medicinal chemistry that we just looked at on the last slide. These are going to give you the strong science foundations that you need, as well as having that business focus. So it gives you an interesting experience in an undergraduate business program. And lastly here is some information on an accelerated option. So I've mentioned the word accelerated a few times. In this context, what this means is that you get both a bachelor's and a master's degree in a total of 5 years. Now, there is one pathway available for every single major at Illinois Tech, and even more available in some situations. And if there's not something that you love on paper, we can potentially help you craft your own accelerated master's degree as well. These are going to be a great option for students who know that they directly want to go into this accelerated option. It lets you finish your work a little bit earlier, lets you get that additional credential, and it also helps you to save money, which is never a bad thing. So the 5th year of your undergraduate program, we're actually going to still only charge you undergraduate tuition. So you don't ever switch over and pay master's level costs. We're going to charge you undergrad, and we're going to extend your scholarship into that 5th year. So a really great option for students to help accelerate the timeline and reduce the cost a bit. I'm going to pause for just a second before we talk a little bit more about this. All right, so a few more things here at Illinois Tech. The first course that you take your very first semester, or one of the first courses you take, is called Introduction to the Profession. Now, this is a course that helps you to make sure that you're actually in the right field. So maybe you think, I'm pretty sure I want to be a mechanical engineer, but at your high school, maybe there's not a lot of options to explore those courses. We get that. We understand that. And even if you had a chance to explore those, it might be different at the college level. And so ITP is going to be one of the best courses for you, because it's going to help you make sure that this is the best possible fit. It's exposing you to what it means to be today an engineer, what your program might look like over the next few years, and then also gives you an idea of what a career path might look like, using our alumni to come back and tell their stories. If you come in as an undecided student, this is, again, where you're going to get a chance to explore. So your ITP as an undecided engineer, or maybe an undecided science student, will be all about exploring all of the options that you think you might like, and then declaring one of those towards the end of your first year. The other hallmark or sort of guaranteed experience for all of our students is IPRO. So ITP, very first semester you take, IPRO tends to be closer towards the end of your experience. This is a full year's worth of college coursework that allows you to work in small interdisciplinary teams, there's that word again, trying to come together to solve a problem of your choosing. So it's all about bringing the best of your individual major, kind of bringing your full experiences, not just your time at Illinois Tech, but who you are as an individual, what you can bring to that team. You all work together to try and solve a real world problem. Sometimes they're very successful and sometimes they may not be, but that's all part of the process. And at Illinois Tech, you're going to have a professor helping to support your IPRO. Though it is student driven and the work is yours as a student, you do have that professor who's there to help support the work that you're doing and help you make sure that you're on the right path. This happens primarily in the Idea Shop. This is one of the spaces that we have at Illinois Tech available to our students. It was built in conjunction with the IPRO, though now you can use the Idea Shop for any different type of work that you might be doing. It's a rapid prototyping lab. It's a giant meeting space where you could spread out, use modeling software, just have whiteboards, things like that, so you can get together with your group and really hash your ideas out. I mentioned you can use this for IPRO or for your own work. Example of that is on the screen. Dane is one of our students who actually took the work that we have, or took the equipment in the Idea Shop and actually brought to life an idea he's been working on since his high school years. He is somebody who loves puzzles, loves Rubik's Cubes, and he actually used our equipment to create his initial designs and initial sort of mock-up of what's called the X Cube, which is kind of like a Rubik's Cube, but as you can see, quite a bit more intense. And so he actually did that and then started a small puzzle startup and was named one of the 30 under 30 young startups in Chicago just a few years ago from that work, alongside another Illinois Tech student who joined him in those endeavors. It's a really great opportunity for students. And last is our Elevate program. So this is another thing that's open to students of any background. Doesn't matter if you're an engineer, a psychologist, or a food science student. Elevate is here to help round out your experiences. We know how important it is for you to not just be in the classroom in the lab, but actually get out there and test all of this out. And so Elevate's going to help you to do maybe an internship, help you find a study abroad experience, maybe even just do a short course out in the industry. All of these types of experiences that supplement the work that you're already doing with our faculty, with maybe international experience, or just getting that real world work experience in a company. Elevate's there for you, and they're going to help you to support that. Now, it is not 100% academic at Illinois Tech, though it is quite an academic place, I always like to say, but we do want you to have a full, well-rounded life out of the classroom as well. And so some of the ways that we support that is through our campus life office. You can see that we've got lots and lots of different organizations, and there's a really great resource on our website called HawkLink, where you can actually see all of those 150 different clubs. You can find one that maybe connects to something you're doing at the high school level that you want to continue, or you could see something that you've never heard of before. I was just on there this week looking at some stuff for a special project, and I discovered that we have a lettuce club at Illinois Tech. Yes, I said lettuce. So lots of interesting things happening at our university. We are also home to a Division III athletic institution or athletic program. So our teams do represent Illinois Tech, and if you are interested in doing so, definitely encourage you to reach out to the coaches and talk about what that onboarding process might look like. Now, some other things that we do at Illinois Tech, we do also have fraternity and sorority life. If you want to maybe join one of those organizations, that is absolutely available to you. Something that is a great outlet for students, allows you to really build leadership skills, give back to the community in a great way. We also have intramural athletics. So if you just want to play soccer with friends on the weekend, or you just want to participate in a volleyball tournament on Wednesday nights, maybe competing against even some of the faculty and staff, that's going to be through the intramurals office. So a little bit less of an intense competition than the NCAA. We also have an esports team, as well as a dedicated esports lounge on our campus. So if you are interested in gaming, want to represent Illinois Tech in that sense, we would love to have you as well. And you'll see later in the presentation, we actually have a scholarship program for esports students. So I would encourage you to check that out. And then the last spot on here on this page is the Bog, which is a dedicated late night sort of hangout spot for our students. So you can see some of the photos there on the screen. We've got the first top one is our esports lounge that I mentioned. Our students participating in a color run a few years ago. And then the last two are just some of the different activities that we have on campus. The pool table area is inside the Bog, again, open in the late night evening hours. In addition to having pool tables, video games, there's also a stage area in the back, as well as a bar and grill, so you can grab some late night food in there if you are hungry. Now, in terms of tech traditions, I oftentimes get asked, like, what is it like to be a student? The best way to learn that is to come meet our students, talk to them, spend a day on campus and see what it's like. But some of the things that our students like to do are obviously hang out, relax, spend time outside of the classroom. You definitely see them taking advantage of the green spaces on campus. Another big thing that they like to do is actually leave campus, go into Chicago, go see a play, Broadway theaters in Chicago, go have dinner, go to the museums. There's no shortage of things to do in Chicago, and it's only a 10-minute train ride. So our students really take advantage of that. On campus, however, we do have some traditions that we like to make sure our students know about. One of my favorite is the pumpkin launch, because it's just such an insane idea to me, but it's literally what it sounds like. Our teams get together, our students get together, form teams, and actually build and compete in sending pumpkins flying across the baseball field. So it's only one of those engineering type of institutions that would offer this, I would say, but they compete in maybe the farthest competition or the most accurate, all different types of experiences. If you want to just watch, that's totally fine as well. We have sort of safety enclosed areas. There's no splash zone. You're not going to end up with pumpkin pieces all over you, I promise. Other things that you'll see, obviously we have dances, spring formals, things like that. We also have what's called the late night MTCC program. MTCC is our student center, and that's where you see some of the photos there. Some students actually doing an indoor ice skating rink where we took over and put that kind of like plastic flooring down. We have some students enjoying some different activities during welcome week, just kind of all about getting you out of the classroom, getting you a chance to meet other people who you might not know, or just have fun with the friends that you do. As I mentioned, NCAA Division III athletics, again, most important thing from an athletic perspective is talk with the coaches. They are really the best resources. Our admissions office, we are more than happy to answer questions, but none of us really have that athletics background, and the best possible resource is going to be the coach. They are more than happy to get connected with you, answer any questions that you might have. And oftentimes they may be in your communities or attending events that you might already be at. So definitely reach out to them, reach out to us, and we'll get you connected to them so that way you can meet the coach, see how you might personally fit into the team. Now, a question we oftentimes get is, oh, well, you're in Chicago. What's that look like for housing? And that actually means, you know, we've got a lot of great options for you. You can live on campus all 4 years if you would like. We have plenty of space at Illinois Tech. We have plenty of different options for you at Illinois Tech as well. Some of the ones that you see on the slideshow right here, CACHET Hall, and then also John and Jean Rowe Village. These are 2 residence halls, very different in style. One is going to be a more traditional dormitory style. The other is a suite style residence. So just depending upon what works best for your individual experience, we require you to live on campus for 2 years at Illinois Tech. And then after that, you can move off campus if you'd like. You want that full city experience, you can head up into the city and still get back to campus for classes in only about 10 minutes. One of the main benefits, I would say, of Chicago. All right, switching gears, admissions and financial aid overview. So again, we try to make the whole process as simple as we possibly can for you. We are a Common App institution. That is actually the only way you can apply to Illinois Tech as a first-year student. If you're a transfer student watching this, you actually have a Common App or our own hosted application as a transfer. So either way, we are happy to accept either of those applications for you. But for first years, remember, apply.iit.edu. The other big thing to remember is completely free to apply to Illinois Tech. We make it as simple as possible and we make it as cheap as possible. So our application is free. Now, what we're going to ask you for is your high school transcript as well as a 1 letter of recommendation. Those are the only 2 main requirements. In addition, if you have ACT or SAT scores, you submit those to us. They are not required though, so totally test optional, both for admissions as well as for scholarships. Other things that you can submit to us if you are maybe applying for architecture and you have a portfolio of some work that you've done through classes or a summer program in architecture, you can absolutely submit that type of material to us. We would be more than happy to take a look. If any of you have a portfolio, we're happy to take a look, though it's most commonly used by our architects. Other things we're going to ask you for are just 2 supplemental questions on your Common App. Why is Illinois Tech a good fit for you? And why is the major that you're applying to the one that you're applying to? We just want to help you make sure that you're on the best pathway. I mentioned transfer options. So if you are not currently already started as a transfer student or you're already enrolled at a community college, you may want to consider our Fast Forward program. This is an option where we're going to help you make sure that you're getting on the best path to Illinois Tech in the future. So you would join our Fast Forward program, you'd get assigned an admissions advisor here at Illinois Tech, and they would meet with you every single semester to make sure that you're getting the required courses at your local community college to make sure that you're going to have an easy transition here. In addition, we're going to invite you to come to campus for different types of events. A few years ago, when we had Fast Forward before COVID-19 hit, our students all got to go to an indoor skydiving space where they got to enjoy that and have fun doing that. And then they had a little lecture from some of our physics professors talking about how that actually works. So that was something that was pretty cool for our Fast Forward students to do. Just one of many different event types they've done, both in the Chicagoland area and directly on our campus. Now, I mentioned earlier, we have these dual admissions pathways. So if you, again, are interested in pre-health, may think you might want to go into medical school, you're interested in being a dentist, optometry, pharmacy, lots and lots of great options for you. There are very separate and very set deadlines for these programs because of that accelerated nature. So definitely take a look at this, but most importantly, reach out to our admissions counselor, Kaylin. She will work with you through the entire process make sure that you're getting all of those things in on the time that you need to get them. So again, dual admissions pathways are available, but they are very regimented. So you want to make sure that you're in touch with Kaylin. She would be more than happy to help you out. And in terms of the way that we fund your education here at Illinois Tech, there's two main ways that we do that. One is through financial aid, the other is through merit scholarships. So financial aid at Illinois Tech, that is completed using the FAFSA. So the free application for federal student aid, you can start to submit that anytime after October 1st, which as we're recording is tomorrow. So anytime after October 1st, you can submit your FAFSA. That's going to go through the federal government system, sort of plug and chug, calculate. It'll give you that estimated family contribution, and then it will start to release that information to universities that you list to receive your FAFSA. So if you list Illinois Tech or you use that Illinois Tech code on the screen, that will give us access to your results so that we can then start to work on creating a financial aid offer that will include things like institutional grants, state federal grant programs, any federal work study that you might be eligible for, as well as your merit scholarship, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. But do want to make sure that you know that majority of our students, the vast majority, 98% of our students do receive some level of scholarship support. We are really, or financial aid and scholarship support, really try to bring that cost down as much as we can for you. So the total tuition cost at Illinois Tech is going to be just about $48,000 per year. That's the sticker price before any scholarships are applied. So you can see here, you are automatically considered for scholarships when you apply to our university. Most students are going to get somewhere between $10,000 to $30,000 through our field scholarship. Now, most students are getting somewhere between about $20,000 to $30,000 if they're applying and they are competitive for admission. But that's available for every single student who applies to Illinois Tech. Automatically considered. You don't have to do a separate application process at all. The other things that you'll see listed are international students are also eligible to apply for scholarships. Again, it's one main application. We're going to use that and consider you for our international scholarships. Same thing, starting at $10,000, ranging up to most students would be about $30,000 in value. There are a few other things that you see listed here. So you see the cameras. Full tuition scholarship. You're probably wondering, how many of those do you give out? We actually give out about 65 camera scholarships. All you have to do is apply before November 15th for consideration. The other one you'll see is our call-in scholars. This is just for our students who are coming from the local city of Chicago. Full tuition and fees for these students, and they do have to apply before January 15th to be considered. Great opportunity for scholarship support at our university. Other scholarships, there's more. We also have a Crown Scholarship just for architecture students. So if you are an architect, you have a portfolio, this would be a great opportunity for you to submit and apply for the Crown Scholarship. Again, full tuition scholarship that is available. We also then have two leadership-based awards, the Leadership Academy, as well as the Duchess Swile Leadership Scholars Program. For those of you who maybe did some leadership development experiences during your high school, or you're interested in really focusing on this during your college years. Great opportunities to help support not just your academic work, but also that development in the leadership sphere. We also have an esports scholarship, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation. All you have to do is apply for that one if you think you might be a good fit for our esports team. You'll get a chance to talk with our coordinator, and then they'll help to award that scholarship for you. And then for our robotics focused students, if you are part of a FIRST or a VEX robotics organization, we want to have you on campus. We love the work that you do, and we want to help support that in the future. So FIRST and VEX students do receive a $25,000 scholarship if they apply before January 15th for that. And then finally, there are some other scholarships, our Chicago Police and Fire, as well as the World Robotics Organizations, just have some slightly different deadlines, mostly in those cases, just going to need to apply alongside your main application. Other thing to know with our scholarships, for anyone who is applying for fall 2022, if you apply before November 15th this year, we'll actually be guaranteeing at least $25,000 in scholarship support should you be admitted to the university. So great thing, great support is available from Illinois Tech. We are going to award this scholarship your first year, and then we're going to guarantee it all of those future years. So no need to reapply for these scholarships. Once you get your scholarship support, it's there and it's available for you each future year at the university. All right, as we wrap up here, I want to talk a little bit about pre-college programs. So at Illinois Tech, not only do we want you to come to IIT for your bachelor's degree, but we would also love to help you explore and see which area might be the best possible fit for you. So if you are maybe a younger student or you have a younger sibling who would be interested in learning more about architecture or computer science, maybe a psychology, these are all different types of pre-college programs that we offer at our university. Some of these are virtual, so you don't have to necessarily come to Chicago in the summer months, but the majority of them this coming summer are planning to be in person. We want you to get the college experience. We want you to see what's it like to live in a residence hall, to eat in a dining facility on campus, to be a student at Illinois Tech. So definitely explore our pre-college options. We also do sort of pre-college field trips where it might just be a one or just like an afternoon's worth of college exploration. So I would encourage you to, again, check that out. Not all of them are sort of long, in-depth types of experiences, just whatever works best in your schedule, we can help support that. And last, I just want to make sure that you know that there are plenty of different options here at Illinois Tech for you to explore your interests even further. So one of the best ways to do that is visiting campus. Virtual is great. It really opens doors for new people to see us. It allows you to safely from home visit Illinois Tech in this format, but we know how important it is for you to see campus. That's going to help you make sure that this is the best possible fit university for you. We are open for in-person visits at this time. Our current students are leading our campus tours. Almost 4 of them every single day are happening. So we're more than happy to have you on campus. We also have larger scale events on the weekends occasionally where you might get a chance to meet with some current students as well as faculty members, see some lab spaces, check out the residence halls. Really, again, just see what it's like, see how you might fit into the university here at Illinois Tech. Another great way is to talk with folks like me. I promise we don't talk as much as I've talked in this presentation all the time, but we want to hear, what questions you have. We want to help support you in your college search process. And so reach out to us. We, again, are more than happy to meet with you virtually if that's what works best for you. If you would prefer to, meet up in person, that is a possibility in the future as well as things start to return to normal. We definitely want to build that relationship with you and answer any questions that you have. Also, we encourage you to bring your family to those conversations. Mom and dad might have great questions that you didn't think of, or bigger younger sister might have equally great questions as well. So bring everyone into these conversations. It doesn't just have to be you and us. We are more than happy to connect with your family in the college search process. And then last, submit that application. If you're a senior, there is no reason not to apply now. Like I said, completely free application process at Illinois Tech. Test optional. So really all you have to do is request that transcript from your high school counselor, and then hopefully you've already identified who's going to write that letter of recommendation for you. Ask them to include Illinois Tech on that, and we will help you get that application in. We'll get that reviewed, get a decision out for you, usually within about 30 days or less, just depending upon when you apply. You could know as early as before Thanksgiving holiday break, which is great. And you would receive that guaranteed $25,000 scholarship because you would be applying before November 15th. All right, here is our contact information. If you have any questions at all, please definitely feel free to reach out. Illinois Tech is more than happy to work with you in this process. And I personally am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. And we thank all of our attendees for joining. Again, we've got the quick 5-question survey out there for you. And another reminder that this will be up on strivescan.com/cache for your review at a later date. Will, thanks again and hope everybody has a good day. Bye-bye.